Hey guys, it's your boy Carlos here,
And Joseph,
and this is the
the
passenger
passenger
seat.
seat. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the passenger seat. And today we're going to be talking about one of Carlos and my favorite games, and that's going to be Apex Legends.
Hey, friend.
I just polished my grapple.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll be talking about Apex Legends. Me and Joseph have actually played this a lot. We actually try to play it almost every day, but
Almost, almost, right.
uh,
I have to start streaming, dude. I have to start streaming my games on Apex. I don't know.
I don't think I'm that good yet. But yes, we're going to be talking about Apex. We thought, why not share this love for the game with everybody else? So we come here to explain more of the way the game was developed, the lore, and then some of the characters. Well,
Yep.
all the characters.
Yep. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
We'll first talk about obviously game development, the way it got started, blah blah blah. We'll start from there, from the beginning.
All right. Okay. So do you got some info on the development?
So actually, it started developing around 2016, even though it came out in 2019. But the development group was already making with, I don't know if some of you out there already know the games. They were making Titanfall and Titanfall 2. I myself never remembered. I didn't remember those games. I honestly just scrolled by them until Apex got released. I didn't know those games existed.
Hmm.
When they
Yep.
started development, they started thinking of all this, the way they're trying to make the game, and what really helped was, unfortunately, all the other battle royale games that were coming out, and that's when they were like, we'll do that. We'll make a battle royale game because I think originally it wasn't going to be like that, but they jumped into it and they wanted to create more of the lore and the story. But yeah, as soon as they released it, it, it immediately became a success. It
Yep.
was like it got so many well, not subscribers. What do you call that? Like,
Just a
I don't know,
following,
play
fans.
yeah, like players,
Hmm.
up to the point where now in 2022 it has over 100 million players. They had
Yep.
to actually boost up
Servers.
all the Apex Predator lines
Oh
because
yeah,
there's
yeah,
just
that too.
so many more players. And obviously out there, if you guys don't know, an Apex Predator is essentially a person who rocks at the game. Like you're playing rank mode and you're like the top dog basically.
Yeah. So before we get into what Apex Predators are and what that means in the game, I just want to go ahead and touch up a little bit on what you were saying about the development. So Apex Legend was developed by Respawn Entertainment, which again were the creators of Titanfall 1 and 2. Um, it was also published by Electronic Arts, EA, and yeah, like you said, came out in February of 2019. That's just to mention a couple of things at least on the development side of things. So yeah, now jumping back into the game. So I guess first of all, it's explaining to people, the battle royale type of system.
Yeah, the gameplay and stuff like that.
Right. So if you haven't played a battle royale yet, which I think Carlos and I would both find very surprising,
Yeah,
um, because everyone's either played PUBG or Fortnite or some type of
Warzone. Yeah,
yeah, they've played some type of battle royale. So battle royale is a type of game where you drop into a sort of an arena of sorts, a set map with a designated number of players, and who it's pretty much like King of the Hill. Last one standing wins.
yep, exactly.
Hmm.
Except
And
with guns.
except with guns. So essentially, that's the sort of style of the game. And what's really cool about Apex, and I think what Carlos and I really like about this game is that there's an actual story behind Apex Legends, and it's really cool
It
to like. Uh,
definitely separates it from other games. The characters in the story separates it from me. It separates it from the other battle royale games.
Yeah, it's really cool to have something that's like in that style and that you can follow along and like sort of discover with the game updating and releasing new characters and stuff. They show you like little bits of story and you like really get hooked on trying to find out. If you're that type of person, there's some people that just want to play the game just to play it. Going back to Apex Legends, going back into that, so the Apex Legend in itself, like at least lore wise, were a group of like mercenaries or soldiers that were they were like, it's like saying like special forces or SWAT. They're like
Yeah, like Black Ops and stuff.
yeah, yeah, they're like a team of like amazingly experienced and talented soldiers. And yeah, in the video game, it translates into you're playing ranked. Obviously, there's a ranking system, and you go from bronze to silver to gold to platinum to so on and so forth until you reach the top of the top, which is Apex Predator. And I believe ever since they made the ever since they made it cross-platform for you to play with all people
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
across all platforms, I think the number went up to what, 750. So the
Yeah,
top seven
which if you think about it, 750 is very little
out
for
of
a
100 million
hundred
players.
million players.
Yeah, exactly.
So to even get up there is
Yeah.
just
Yeah, so you have to be in the top 750, ranked people to be in that list, and I think that's also really cool. That's, something every game has. They always try to include a ranking system, but
yeah.
uh, it just makes you know the game even cooler on that end. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the history of Apex Legends.
Of course. Well, to start on the history, and we haven't played these games, but to start on the history of Apex, you're gonna have to start from Titanfall. So, I believe you gathered up some information about that in the Titanfall
Yes.
War.
Yes. So, in Titanfall 1 and 2, basically the story is, or the conflict of Titanfall 1 and 2 is the Frontier War. Basically, the story is about this engineering company called Hammond Engineering that turned into another company called the IMC. Basically, what they end up doing is they go out into the solar system to sort of gather resources, and essentially they take a group of planets and they form what's called the frontier. While they're doing this, they're trying to set everything up for the frontier, starting to build civilizations. They get word that some war is going on Earth, and they have to turn around, go back, leave what they're doing with the frontier, and go back. When they're done on Earth and they decide to come back and try to keep doing what they're doing, try to colonize these planets and do all that stuff, they meet resistance by these new civilizations that are starting to bud in the
Yeah.
frontier. And that it sparks a conflict, which is the Frontier War. So now, that's the main conflict of Titanfall 1 and 2.
Yes. And by I guess the Frontier War, when it ended, it sort of became this. I think it's Earth became like this oasis, this kind of wasteland with nothing on it. And there was a member of the IMC who decided to make an old blood sport. It was back to
Right.
life.
He decided to revive an ancient blood sport that they used to play, and it was, the Apex games. Um, so yeah, and the person, sort of credited to doing this was a man named Kuben Blisk.
Yes,
Kuben
which
Blisk,
apparently you see him in Titanfall, but you never see him in Apex.
yeah, you do.
You see him?
Yeah, he's in the. Remember, he's in the trailer for Valkyrie. He's in
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
he's in the
Okay.
first. He's in the very first trailer too. Anyways, going back to Kuben Blisk. Kuben Blisk, so that you try to so you can get a little bit of understanding of who he is. He basically was an IMC fighter, and he was sort of like the main antagonist for Titanfall. And now in Apex, he's sort of recruiting these people to put them into the Apex games and sort of test them, like Yeah, they make it seem like, oh, it's just for show, it's
It's
for
like a
entertainment.
show. Yeah.
Right. You sort of gain popularity and infamy in sort of
Yeah.
doing these things, but I believe that there is some type of ulterior motive that Kuban Blisk has going on to sort of get
Which
like
we
the best.
yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to get the best fighters for something.
Which we still don't know the alternative motive, because Apex, the lore is very fascinating, but it's also a growing story. It is
Mm.
not complete. There's not a lot you know, but the more they keep going, the more you're interested. I feel every character they released is releases
Yep.
a new story, part of that story.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically the story so far with Apex. Let's go ahead and jump into the characters that so many
Yes,
people know and love from the game,
which
and
which can help to understand more of the lore if you understand a lot of the characters' different backgrounds. Again, a lot of these characters, just like the lore, their backgrounds are sort of unfinished. They just have like a little bit, but you don't really know the full story.
right, right. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and mention the characters, and then we'll go into them a little bit, one
All
by
right,
one.
who's number
So
one?
we have Bangalore.
Bangalore. Bangalore
Bang,
is pretty cool, actually.
yeah. So we got Bangalore. We got Wraith. We've got Pathfinder, Gibraltar, Caustic. We have Watson, Octane, Mirage, Crypto, Loba. Then we also have Rampart, Fuse, Valkyrie, Horizon,
Yeah,
Lifeline, Bloodhound, and Revenant. Yeah,
yeah. It's funny because
takes.
they didn't start out that much.
Yeah. So what about Bangalore? Let's start with Bangalore.
I feel like if you're coming from Bangalore is that person that if you're coming from Call of Duty, she's the person you should probably play. She's a soldier. She was a soldier from the Frontier War, and essentially every like all her moves and stuff like that, it's all soldierous, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, that's a fair assessment. Okay, so Wraith, Wraith uses basically, people see it as portals and stuff, but it's sort of like she has access to all sort of alternate universes.
Oh
So
yeah,
she's able to see into every single alternate dimension, sort of like a
dude.
Doctor Strange thing going on.
No, it reminds me of Nightcrawler.
Oh
And
yeah,
every
yeah,
time
yeah, yeah.
Nightcrawler teleport, yeah,
That makes sense. That actually makes a
yeah,
lot of sense. Okay, so yeah, she's basically got that thing going on, and she can see what's gonna happen in every single instance to take the best course of action.
yeah. She's a cool character.
Yeah. Then we've got my personal favorite, um, Pathfinder. Uh,
Pathfinder looks like this, guys. If you don't know.
yeah. So Pathfinder is a robot called Marvin, right? The robots are
Yes,
called Marvins,
which they
which
are in Titanfall.
they are in Titanfall. And basically, with the story of Pathfinder is that he's trying to find who created him and what his purpose is. But yeah, he has to be one of the funniest characters in the game. Aside from Mirage.
Yeah, if you want to be Spider-Man, then you can play as Pathfinder.
Right. He uses a grapple to get himself, swing himself into high places, and he has some awesome maneuverability. But yeah,
Yeah.
now we're gonna go into Big Boy.
Which one?
Maybe. Oh, okay. The non-toxic Big Boy.
Gibraltar. Gibraltar's actually a really cool character. Before we get more into this, these characters also are divided by what would you call that?
Oh, their
Certain
classification.
their classifications, which is like defense, damages, attack, support, scout,
Recon,
and I
scout or
think
recon, yeah.
scout or recon. And Gibraltar is like basically the definition of a tank.
Gibraltar actually used to be on sort of like a rescue team. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so that sort of makes sense. It falls in line with what Gibraltar does in the game. All right, yeah. So after Big Boy 1, we got Big Boy 2, which is Caustic, the toxic boy.
Caustic. Caustic is an
Um,
interesting character, yeah.
he is basically what he does. He just throws down canisters with poison gas, hurts your enemies. Nasty evil dude. A
Yeah.
genius, a genius though. Speaking of geniuses, we have a couple more, and one of them is Watson.
Watson. She's a French girl who
She's a
basically
French
she has the
girl.
ability. Yeah.
Paint me like one of your Watsons.
She's cool. All her moves are electricity based. She basically just, again, defense. Create a lot of electricity fields that can shock your enemies, and she's a good character. She's very fast. Not fast. What do you call that? Like you can barely hit her
Oh,
because she's so. I don't know what you call that.
elusive. Yeah. I don't know. She can defend herself well. Speaking of fast, though, we do have Octane, the
Oh
fastest
yes.
character in the game, and basically he's a adrenaline junkie, literally. He injects himself with like a syringe full of like I guess it's adrenaline,
Yeah.
and
I mean, it's the Flash. Yeah.
yeah, and he's basically able to move
On
really fast.
drugs.
He's on drugs. Uh, um, uh, who else? We've got Mirage. So Mirage is one of the funniest characters in the game. He basically uses like this suit full of like these panels, I
Like
guess, light panels.
holographic panels or something like
Yeah,
that.
and he can create like holograms of himself, which psych
Yeah,
out your
and be
opponent.
invisible, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. We've got Crypto. Crypt.
Crypto, yeah, he's a very strategy character. Like when you play Crypto, you need to understand how to do a strategy with him because he has a drone that he throws out, and that drone basically can target your enemies and pick up your enemies. I mean, your friends' death boxes. He's not a lot of offense. He's not a
Right.
lot
We've got Loba, big booty girl
of
Loba. Oh my God, the Latina in her. Jesus, that's what it is, bro.
Uh, yeah,
So,
she's cool. She's a thief. That's her character's like dynamic, and
mhm.
basically all her abilities are surrounded about being a thief and picking up the most equipment you can and the most items you can. So she's pretty good at that. She really helps the team with that.
Yep. We're moving on to Rampart. Rampart is one of the newer characters. Uh, yeah, people don't like her. Um, Pretty much, she sets up shields, and her ultimate is a machine gun. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
she's a gun freak. Anyways, moving on. Fuse. He is a
He's offensive to the max.
he's very offensive. He likes to use a lot of grenades, um, and a lot of
That's
like
basically his thing. His
projectiles.
grenades.
Yeah, he uses a lot of projectiles.
Yeah,
Moving on, Valkyrie is the newest character. Valkyrie is honestly one of the coolest characters out of the new ones that they've released because one, she has the ability to fly around. She uses like a jetpack,
well, it's
and
short amount of time. Short amount of time, but yes,
right, but
he can
still,
fly.
it's really cool. I think that's an awesome take on her, and her maneuverability is really good.
Yeah.
Um, Moving on to Horizon. Horizon is basically uses gravity.
Gravity. It's like black holes and things like that.
Really cool
She's a
too.
science. She's a scientist, so she just studies black holes, and that's her abilities. Is like a lot of gravity stuff, a lot of space stuff.
Yep, that's pretty awesome. All right, Revenant, which is uh basically he's a
He's an
bounty hunter.
assassin.
He's an assassin
Oh,
bounty hunter,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Basically he's an evil dude. He's a robot. He's a
yeah,
robot
yeah.
or an android or
Just like,
something.
yeah, he's not just like Pathfinder, but Pathfinder and him are the only two robots in the game for now.
So far, yeah. And basically he doesn't like he thinks he's human, but he's actually not, and he's having an existential crisis because he sometimes get images of him seeing himself
That dude
as
has
a
the
robot.
best lines.
Yeah. Uh, um. So Bloodhound is
Mm.
another character. Bloodhound is particularly awesome just because it's like a
He's
tracker character.
he's a hunter, like he's like you. He's basically one of those hunters. Every move he has, just you can track down your prey. He can find out where the enemy has been, if the enemy's there. He's very much.
Inclusive, bro. Inclusivity. It's a they them, I think.
Oh, right. You're right.
Right.
I'm sorry.
So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, kill me in the comments if I'm mistaken. Bloodhound is actually a non-binary character
Yes.
that goes by the pronouns they them. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's another thing that's really cool about Apex that I didn't want to mention, how inclusive they are.
Yes. A lot of different races and a lot of different sexual preferences, and
Yep.
they're very good at that, actually.
I have never seen a Haitian character. And speaking of which, we're leaving the best for last. Carlos's favorite character, and that is
It's Lifeline. Lifeline's my main. She didn't start out that way, but really, I'm a big support guy. I love support characters. I'm not much of a damage person, but basically, she is like an EMT. She gets in the field. She heals your teammates. She even has a little heal bot. This little robot that comes out. She can heal her teammates while also fighting at the same time, unlike other characters. She's really cool. But again, yeah, a Haitian character, Samoan, black, like you name it, and they try to
they've
get
included it.
every ethnicity included.
Yep.
That's true.
Hopefully, hey, Respawn, give us a Puerto Rican character, please.
And
That'd
not
be.
Mister. Have a cold one with Octane.
He sounds kind of lonely when he says that. But yeah. All right, so that was it. Sorry for dragging it on. It's just we love this game so much. If you haven't played Apex, make sure to go play some
Please
Apex.
do.
Get into it. Please don't get frustrated after the first couple of matches. Please don't get frustrated because some people are toxic and they'll probably call you out on the mic. Don't worry
You don't
about
have
it.
to play with a mic, but yeah.
Yeah, but you'll still hear them. You'll still hear them. Um, don't worry. We accept you. If you ever play with us, then we'll be glad to have you. But yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for joining us today on our ride. Make sure to like and subscribe if you liked our video today. Let us know in the comments who is your main. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this ride with us, and hopefully you'll join us next time here in
No
the
passenger
passenger
seat.
seat. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Passenger Site. Passenger Site.
Just
All right.